A new wave of violence is underway in the Middle East. The U.S. and Israel launched new airstrikes against Iran as Iran is firing back. 3 U.S. service members have been killed so far. And in just the last few minutes, we've started to see reports of fire and smoke coming from the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait. Congress returns today and a vote is expected to force the president to get Congress approval before any further action. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest.
This morning, growing violence in the Middle East with Israel and Iranian-backed Hezbollah fighters in Lebanon exchanging fire following this weekend's U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran.
Mr. President, who do you want to lead Iran?
President Trump is back in Washington, lawmakers returning tomorrow for the classified briefings many are pressing for.
Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved.
Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed in the Saturday strikes, and now 2 sources briefed on the matter tell NBC News the attacks were timed based on intelligence. Khamenei would be at a meeting with senior leaders. President Trump told NBC News in a phone interview many others in Iranian leadership were killed. And 3 American service members are confirmed killed in combat. U.S. officials tell NBC News they were part of an Army unit based in Kuwait. 5 others were seriously wounded.
We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more before it ends.
The president also told NBC News he decided to act because Iran was unwilling to say they would not have a nuclear weapon following weeks of negotiations. Reaction from Capitol Hill largely split on party lines.
I think the president has started a war of choice. There was no imminent threat to the United States.
The largest state sponsor of terrorism, Iran, is close to collapsing.
Protests and praise in this country as Iranian Americans hope for freedom, while anti-war demonstrators fear a spreading conflict.
And I feel this is my duty to stand against war, stand against bombing other countries.
All the diaspora of Iranians are chanting and excited because we see freedom at hand.
Those protests and rallies have been popping up across the country in response to the U.S. strikes on Iran. People gathered in cities including San Francisco, in Albany, New York, with a similar message: Americans don't want another war. At the same time, celebrations took place in Houston and New York City. Those demonstrators seem to want an end to the Islamic Republic running Iran. Well, back at home, Bellevue police are investigating reports that someone pulled a gun on people rallying in support of the airstrikes. Demonstrators say a car drove past the Bellevue Mall yesterday, and as it was about to turn right at the light, a man in the passenger seat pointed a gun at the crowd gathered there. A woman in the crowd took this video. In the beginning, you can see the man holding what looks like a gun. A different video taken from another angle captures some of what the man said.
Hopefully it's a one-off incident. I don't want to make it a political thing, even though it might be in his head.
The group has been calling for regime change and gathers there every Saturday and says they plan to return next weekend. There are growing signs that this war could spiral and have a major impact on global oil markets. About 20% of the world's oil travels out of the Persian Gulf through a choke point at the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran has declared to be closed. Yesterday, several ships came under attack, including an Iranian oil tanker on the U.S. sanctions list. No one has claimed responsibility for it. This morning, another tanker has been attacked, this one in the Gulf of Oman. A bomb-carrying boat sparked a fire and killed 1 crew member. Oman's port has also been attacked, and we've also learned that Qatar Energy, one of the world's biggest natural gas producers, is halting production. Rising oil prices means drivers here in Washington could soon be in for a shock at the gas pump. King 5's Maddie White explains.
Gasoline prices will probably be going up right away, right around 8%. In Washington state, the average gallon of gas currently costs about $4.35. But now an expert says that number will grow.
You're going to be up around $4.70.
Kenneth Gillingham is a renowned researcher and consumer energy professor at Yale.
The most key choke point in the global oil market is right there.
Vessel traffic in the Strait of Hormuz dropped by about 70% as of Sunday.
A lot of uncertainty right now.
And if the strait stays effectively closed,
we really are in for it with much higher oil prices.
Washingtonians may wish to wise up on how they get around.
In Seattle, there's a lot of room to take public transportation.
Adding insult to injury, our state gas tax is also set to rise by 2% this July. It was approved last spring in a multi-billion-dollar transportation revenue package to account for inflation.
Purchase a more efficient car, you can get a hybrid, you can get an electric vehicle.
Even those who don't drive may not be immune to rising costs either.
There's no question that this will enhance inflation right now.
Gillingham says the delivery of goods and groceries may slowly creep up, and if the Federal Reserve stays concerned about inflation,
they're not going to be lowering interest rates.
Again, that was Maddie White reporting. Early this morning, people of Beirut, Lebanon fled to the suburbs as Israel launched a series of airstrikes. Those strikes were in retaliation to missiles fired into Israel by Hezbollah, the Lebanese militant group. Then Lebanese officials warned Hezbollah, which is aligned with Iran, not to take action. The country is still on the mend after the last Israel-Hezbollah war, which ended in November 2024. The strikes are also causing chaos at airports around the world, leaving passengers stranded trying to get home. Valerie Castro has the details.
Tonight, travel chaos rippling around the world. Major airports in the Middle East shut down after Iran fired a barrage of missiles and drones at countries in the Gulf. The region, a major travel hub, more than 1,500 flights to the Middle East canceled. Travelers worldwide impacted from Lebanon to India, even France and Germany. Massive crowds in Doha scrambling to figure out their next move.
People at the front of the line up there are waiting 3 hours just to get the voucher.
While at Dubai International Airport, passengers were evacuated after it was attacked. And Kuwait's airport also suffering heavy damage and a partial collapse. Multiple airlines pausing all travel after Iran and several Arab countries closed their airspace. Passengers left frustrated, scared, and stranded.
It's kind of been chaos here. All the airspace is closed here.
Oliver Sims was already in the air headed back home to Dallas from Qatar when the flight changed course. He's not sure when he'll be able to get home.
But then all of a sudden the captain said that we had to turn back around and go back to Doha because Qatar Airways ordered all flights to come back to Doha.
Another American tourist, Sarah Gaither, now waiting it out in her Doha hotel.
I'm literally shaking right now.
As thousands more anxiously hunker down and hope to get out soon.
As we mentioned earlier, Congress returns today with many lawmakers expected to vote on the War Powers Resolution. We're also expecting to hear from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth at the top of the hour. NBC will have a special report at 5 a.m. We'll keep you updated with the very latest throughout the morning.